We did the story where the guy in the Bronx, kind of close to us, was walking on the sidewalk, fell through like 15 feet to like a rat den and was stuck there, right?
Right.
Well, there's another, he's suing New York City.
Right.
There's another lawsuit going on in New York City where a ceiling full of rats collapsed on a man's head. And the person who tweeted this and kind of went viral a little bit, his name is Jake at Jangle Oof, Jake Offenhartz. He posed the question, would you rather fall on rats or have rats fall on you? Right. I have an answer, but I thought this was a great, solid question.
So I'm glad you went there because my head instantly jumped there without knowing. So in these stories, the way these stories played out, you'd rather have the rats fall on you.
For sure.
Because a guy was stuck.
You're not stuck.
Covering his holes so that rats didn't go in him.
And you don't want to go to the rats world.
Never do.
Like the rats fall on you, they know we're not where
They've
we're supposed to
entered your
be,
place.
and they
Half of
scurry
them
around.
are scattering. Yeah.
Scattering.
You've entered their world. Yeah.
If you enter their world, they're like, get out of here.
I'll say this. Now, if you fall and then it's an escape, like there's a ladder next to you and you fall and it's over, rats fall on you, kind of the same thing. You can get out of the room. I'd rather fall into the rats because then I'm worried about the ground below me, which I feel like you normally are, you know, when you take steps.
Mm-hmm. Usually people don't.
I don't want to be worried. You have rats fall on you from a ceiling. You now have a ceiling phobia. You are now constantly worried about the ceiling.
So the guy who fell into the pit of rats,
Yes.
how was he supposed to know that there was, you know, he walked on the wrong step?
Yeah.
The person who the rats fell on, now he's like, I lived in a rat-infested house. I have to move now.
You now have a disease where you think there's rats above you at all times.
And he probably has to move apartments.
Yeah. I'd hope. Imagine
So
just
actually,
play through
like,
that.
if I had to change lives with one of these two, I may go the guy who got stuck, because once he's unstuck, his life's fine. The guy whose ceiling caved on him,
right.
you got a mess.
You've
to
got
clean up.
problems outside of that. And I just, again, interested to see how this plays out. I'd like to think the guy that fell and was in the rat hole for a half hour, when that case goes to court or he's settling with, like, what? It's like New York City, right? Like, New York City transportation? Like, what are sidewalks even? Didn't we look this up?
Sidewalks are
know.
a section of pavement
DOT?
you walk on.
I don't know.
The word city planning comes to mind.
This guy is going to sue.
City planning's awesome.
This guy's going to sue the
I don't know if that's what they do.
New York City. And when he walks into any courtroom or negotiating table, he says, I was walking and then I was covered in rats and was scared to open my eyes and mouth because I was covered in rats
yeah.
from the floor not staying together.
Yes.
So you guys figure out what you're going to give me. If you want to go to court, who do you think the court's siding with?
But the other guy
Because
can
maybe I'll bring in a couple rats. I bet the jury would love to see that and then multiply them by 1 million.
The other guy's suing the state as well, or the city.
Sure.
And maybe his landlord.
That building, yeah.
The guy who had rats above his building sums up with him. You're not living in a clean, nice, maintained apartment
Yeah.
with a rat nest above you. Like, you know, he probably lived it, you know.
Maybe it turns his life around.